Discipline is a hard, inflexible path. Imagine yourself in a vast forest, walking among the trees. You can smell the earth and hear the soft rustle of leaves swaying in the breeze. Everything feels in harmony until you come across a road in front of you, long, straight, and seemingly challenging. Many of us see discipline like this. However, discipline is not an iron cage. It is, in fact, a dance between our intention and the way we choose to manifest it in the world. But how do you really understand the discipline? Is the vision we have of it as an implacable force limiting us? There are myths surrounding this concept, blocking the path to true prosperity and flow, disrupting the natural rhythm of who you really are. Myth 1. Discipline is rigid and unyielding. The first belief we need to deeply examine is the idea that discipline is a harsh and unchanging force, something that sets limits, tightens the reins, and smothers our spontaneity. Think of water. It has no fixed shape, but at the same time, it can carve mountains and flow through the toughest obstacles. That's how our discipline should be too. When we see it as something rigid, we automatically place a heavy burden on our shoulders. Discipline starts to feel like a strict general, a dictator forcing us to follow a difficult, narrow path with no options. But what if, instead, discipline was like water? Flexible, adaptable, yet incredibly powerful when focused. What if we could see it not as a set of rules to be strictly followed, but as a current of energy that guides us smoothly, offering direction without choking our essence? Now, close your eyes for a moment and think of an area in your life where discipline feels like a struggle. What if you could change your perspective and see it as an ally, not an oppressor? Discipline, in truth, is like a river that flows gently, shaped by the banks we choose. It doesn't imprison us. It gives us form, helping to direct our efforts in a more conscious and meaningful way. And here's where we start to realize discipline isn't the enemy of freedom, it's a true ally. Myth 2. Discipline kills creativity, but rigidity isn't the only myth. What if I told you that discipline doesn't kill creativity, but rather fuels it? Often, the belief that discipline and creativity can't coexist holds us back. Maybe you've thought this way, fearing that by setting a routine or following rules, your spontaneity would disappear. But let's reflect together. Imagine a blank canvas and an artist holding their brush. The freedom to create without limits seems tempting, doesn't it? But without direction, the artist's strokes could end up shapeless, lost in a chaotic blend of colors. Discipline, in this sense, is like the frame of a masterpiece. It doesn't restrict creativity, but guides it so that it blossoms in an organized and powerful way. Think of the greatest artists and visionaries we admire. They didn't just create, they created with intention and purpose, shaping their ideas with persistence and focus. Discipline is what gives creativity depth, allowing it to have impact and meaning. Now, I challenge you to look at one of your creative projects. It could be something personal or professional. How can you bring more discipline into the process without suffocating your spontaneity? Maybe it's time to structure the chaos and let your vision come to life with more clarity. Myth 3. Discipline is for the few. Many believe that discipline is a gift reserved for those with extraordinary willpower, but this is a myth we need to dismantle. Discipline isn't about strength, but about intention. It's not about being an extraordinary person, but about being connected to your purpose. Let's look at nature. Think about the changing seasons. Every cycle, the earth goes through periods of growth, rest, and renewal. Discipline is imprinted in the rhythm of the universe, effortless, without resistance. It's not a privilege for the few, it's part of life's natural flow. How many times have you felt like you didn't have that strength others seem to have? The truth is, that strength isn't something reserved for a select few. Discipline is born from being deeply aligned with what you truly want. When there's connection, discipline flows naturally without forcing anything. Myth 4. Discipline means sacrifice. How many times have we heard that to achieve our dreams, we must give up something essential? This is one of the deepest myths that distances us from the true nature of discipline. But what if discipline wasn't about sacrifice, but about self-love? Like a gardener pruning their plants, not to destroy, but to make them grow stronger. Discipline isn't about deprivation. It's about nurturing what is essential. Think for a moment, what do you feel you've had to sacrifice in the name of discipline? Now, imagine a way to balance that, a way to take care of what's important without giving up your own joy. Discipline in this way becomes an act of care. It balances our needs and teaches us that we don't have to lose to gain, but that we can grow while tending to everything that matters. Now, with this fresh perspective on discipline, we begin to realize that it isn't rigid, nor is it about sacrifice or reserved for a select few. It's a fluid dance between our intentions and our actions. Discipline is the path to a balanced life, where prosperity is measured not just by external achievements, but by inner harmony. And remember, This journey doesn't end here. In the previous video, we talked about discomfort as an essential part of personal growth. Remember how we mentioned that sometimes stepping out of your comfort zone is the first step towards something greater? Discomfort is our teacher, the force that pushes us beyond our limits. If you haven't watched it yet, I invite you to explore how to transform discomfort into a positive force for your development. You'll find that by embracing these uncomfortable feelings, you open yourself up to new growth opportunities. So, if the topic of discomfort is still challenging you, take a step back and revisit this concept in the previous video. It could be the insight you need to tie everything we've discussed here together.